Ladies and gentlemen, Barry C here with another cryptocurrency video, and I'm going to be discussing why I'm confident in the future of XRP. And in particular, I'm confident because of the way in which Gary Gensler is conducting himself. And I'm going to go into a couple of very specific things that highlight this concept. The first of which is the court order for the SEC to respond to Coinbase's complaint. And they are complaining about the lack of transparency in the SEC's allegations against Coinbase. Now, there's a very specific quote in particular which I would like to highlight, and that quote is as follows: that existing SEC registration and disclosure requirements are incompatible with digital assets, which differ fundamentally from stocks, bonds, and investment contracts, for which the securities laws were designed, and that the SEC is traditionally regulated. The SEC, at a minimum, must set forth how these inapt and inappropriate requirements are to be adapted for digital assets. And it's this lack of clarity that is a through line through this entire procedure. And we see it constantly from Gary Gensler. And this leads me to my first clip, where we very clearly see Gary Gensler struggling to show any sense of clarity and any sense of definition when it comes to a digital asset.
Clearly, an asset cannot be both a commodity and a security. Do you agree?
Actually, all securities are commodity under the Commodity and Exchange Act. It's that we are excluded commodities. But I would agree that a security cannot be also an excluded commodity and an included commodity. I'm sorry, Chair, just to talk about the Commodity Exchange Act more precisely.
Okay, so do you recognize, how would you categorize Ether then?
Look, I think that the general sweep of what Congress did, not just in the 30s, but as amended.
I'm asking you, sitting in your chair now, to make an assessment under the laws as exist. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to any one.
I know you've repeatedly said that you're not going to speak to one, except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin. So I'm asking you to speak to a second one, the second largest market cap here.
And speaking to the tokens, there's 10 to 12,000. If there's a group of entrepreneurs in the
I'm asking about one.
The public is anticipating a profit based on the.
I'm asking you a specific question, Chair Gensler. I said this in private. This should be no shock to you. I'm asking this question: is Ether a commodity or a security?
And again, it depends on the facts and the law. And if there's a group of individuals.
I'm asking you about the facts and the law, sitting in your seat, and the judgment you are making.
And so, Mr. Chair, I think you would not want me to prejudge, because I'm also.
But you have prejudged on this. You've taken 50 enforcement actions. We're finding out as we go, as you file suit, as people get Wells notices on what is a security in your view, in your agency's view. I'm asking you a very simple question about the second largest digital asset. What is your view?
And my view is if there's a group of individuals in the middle that the public is anticipating.
All right. So let me just ask a second question then. Do you think it serves the market for an object to be viewed by the commodities regulator as a commodity and the securities regulator to be viewed as a security? Do you think that provides safety and soundness for the product? Do you think it provides consumer protection? Do you think it serves the value of innovation? I think no should be a very simple answer for you here.
I think
that uncertainty is bad, is it not?
And I think that Congress has said that there's one agency, the Securities and Exchange Commission, under this committee.
And you won't answer my question, and you're the head of that agency. So give me a break. Come on.
And it doesn't stop there. This leads me to my second clip, which is part of the same testimony and questioning.
I'm answering it in the generic because you would not want me to speak about any one set of facts and circumstance.
Okay, so, but you've already spoken. Have you said anything about Bitcoin?
My predecessors and the agency itself has spoken to them.
Okay, but you're not willing to do the same about Ether. Okay, so let me just step back. There's a lack of clarity here in the marketplace. Can you at least agree to that?
I think that the clarity is there. The law is clear.
All right.
There's a group
so
of individuals you're
let me be explicit about this. The market doesn't see it. Your regulatory actions and the CFTC's regulatory actions say that there's a great deal of uncertainty here. It is the intention of this committee to fix that uncertainty and actually provide a sound legal basis for this.
Now, ladies and gents, there's one more clip that I wish to play for you, where Gary Gensler specifically addresses the lack of regulations when it comes to exchanges.
My thoughts to consider whether to bring greater investor protection to the crypto exchanges. And I think if that were to be the case, because right now the exchanges trading in these crypto assets do not have a regulatory framework either at the SEC or our sister agency, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. That could instill greater confidence. Right now, there's not a market regulator around these crypto exchanges, and thus there's really not protection against fraud or manipulation.
So, ladies and gents, all these clips highlight the reasons why I'm so confident in the future of XRP and the future of the Ripple lawsuit. Because what we see is Gary Gensler saying one thing and doing another. We see him talking about having no real regulations in place to even look at crypto exchanges, yet he continues to sue Coinbase. We see him making his own videos and tweets where he's very clear and very articulate when it comes to what he considers a commodity or a security. However, when we see Gary Gensler go in front of senators who are asking very clear and concise questions to establish clarity, transparency, and confidence when it comes to digital assets, especially in the United States, we see that same person who was so articulate and so clear when it was on his own terms. Now we see someone who is evasive. We see somebody who's bumbling through his answers. And that's self-evident through the clips. And that's why I'm so confident about the future of XRP. Because we have Gary Gensler saying one thing, doing another, and it's been highlighted very publicly. And we also have a situation where there's no way the United States are going to be behind the rest of the world when it comes to innovation and digital assets. They won't allow it. And ladies and gents, as always, none of this is financial advice, but we just have to hold on. Do not be shaken out. Do not succumb to the FUD. Just be confident in knowing what you hold when it comes to XRP. Now let's conclude this video with a Barry C. dad joke. My wife's told me that the salads I make tend to be a little bit on the dry side. It's definitely something that needs addressing. Ladies and gents, if you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.